Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. As you know, coming to you raw and uncut. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. All right, Crown Jewel. Woo, it was a good one. I mean, it wasn't a great one, but it was good. It was good. And we're going to start it off with, not talking a lot right now. We're just going to go ahead and just start it match by match, and then just go through it and stuff. It was a good show. All the matches I would say were pretty good, but only one match really stood out, and I think it could be the match of the year, and that's the match with AJ Lee. AJ Styles and John Cena. I mean, that was a good match. It was a good match. All right, so let's get with the opening match. It was Bronson Reed against Roman Reigns. The match was good. It was what I thought it was going to be as far as it being an Australian street fight and stuff. Not sure what you can bring to an Australian street fight. I mean, we've seen a cricket bat and stuff like that, but we've seen some chairs. We've seen the stairs, no tables, but the announcer table. But no, it was good. It was like it should be. Pretty much violent. Because it's division and stuff like that. So let's get into the match. The match was good, back and forth. Um, as the match got started, the people already got into it, saying that they wanted to see tables and stuff. No tables so far was brought out or anything like that. And then you get Roman Reigns, telling the people, hey, to acknowledge me if you want to see tables and stuff. And then, Braun Breaker kind of interrupts and stuff and, hits a move on Roman Reigns, puts the tables back and, says that there won't be any tables today and stuff like that. But as the match was going, like I said, it was pretty brutal, pretty, back and forth and stuff. There was a point where Roman Reigns was gonna come out and actually, I guess, spear Bronson Reed, but then he got intercepted by by Braun Breaker with the spear, um, and then they started destroying Roman Reigns, and then after a while, the Usos come down, then they start fighting. Then Jay gets speared by Braun Breaker, and it's just all over the place at this point. And at one point, Roman has Braun Breaker. Jay is going to go spear him, but ends up spearing Roman Reigns through the table. Um, Jey Uso gets destroyed, knocked out of action with the spear from Braun Breaker. They drag Roman over to the ropes. I mean, to the corner. Tsunami, Bronson Reed tsunamis him and stuff, and the match is over. 1, 2, 3. Then as the match is over, they're gloating over, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. And then when they leave the match, it leaves Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso in the ring. And Roman is talking to him, and Roman is saying, "Hey, this is not looking good on him, because it looks like the people are going to start thinking that he can't win on his own. If they keep coming out trying to help, and every time they come out to help, it ends up in disaster." And so Roman tells him, "Hey, look, I love you guys, but I don't want to see you guys until Christmas time." And then Roman leaves the ring, and then Jay and Jimmy, they have their little words and stuff, and Jay's basically, saying, "Hey, look, Roman's gonna be Roman. He's always gonna be the same and stuff, And Jay said, "Look, I'm out too, And Jimmy's standing in the ring, by himself. So, are we gonna see Jay turn heel? are they going to kind of work things out? Because you got the bloodline, then you got this big thing, and I think sooner or later it's going to end up leading, Roman Reigns against Braun Breaker. It has to, because Roman Reigns is not finished with Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins still has his situation going on with CM Punk and everything, and that's with the title and stuff, for the world title and stuff. But Roman Reigns has even bigger issues with them, because every time that they've come into the ring or any time that they've had a match, they've gotten destroyed by the Vision, and that's Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, you know. So I don't know if this is going to lead anything up into War Games, that's coming up here next month, So we'll have to see. Gotta stay tuned. I'll let you know what's going on. Then we had the match with Stephenie Valquer and Tiffany Stratton, which was, again, another pretty good match. It was a shorter match of the matches that were shown tonight. But other than that, it was a real good match. It was back and forth. Um, the ladies, really did their thing. Um, Stephanie Valquer, she wins the match. Tiffany Stratton, I'm not sure what we're going to do with her. Hopefully, I don't know if they're going to either turn her heel, or she's going to remain face. Who's coming at her with this title and stuff. I think Liv and Bianca Belair will be back soon. Maybe they might go, put them in a position to run for that title. I mean, there's so many things that are wide open with Tiffany Stratton right now. I mean, she's a champion now for 271 days, I believe. And, she's been good. She's been defending the title. It's not been an every week thing and stuff, but you've seen a lot of Tiffany, you know, um, and stuff. I think she needs to get a little bit better as far as her promos are concerned and stuff. But other than that, we'll see what's happening. And I just have to give my props out to Stephanie Valquer because, she did her thing. She won the match. You know, her English and everything about her is going to be good as far as going into the future, for her and where she's going to stand and stuff. And then we get the match of the night, AJ Styles against John Cena. I mean, this match was awesome. I mean, it was great. They really put on a show, and just like AJ Styles said before, hey, they didn't need anybody, to write them a story. Their storyline had already been written. They were just trying to put a final piece on the chapter, because they're, both 2-2 against each other, in the ring and stuff. And I mean, this one was a knockdown drag out, and I mean, they paid tribute to a lot of wrestlers. We got the skull crushing finale, which is something from Miz, Camel Clutch, from Rusev, the Walls of Jericho from Jericho, even though he's in AEW or was in AEW, I haven't seen him in a while. And then they did the Sister Abigail, great tribute to Bray Wyatt. All the Fireflies lit up the phones, lights, phone lights were just waving back and forth, which is a real good thing. It was very touching, and then we know that AJ Styles, come from TNA, um, did some stuff, did the Angel Wing, he did a tribute to Shawn Michaels as far as Sweet Chin Music. And I kind of like what John Cena did at the beginning as far as giving Ashley Taylor, the announcer, you know, um, a note, and it had everything to do as far as, reading it on AJ Styles and stuff, him and the Bullet Club, and this is all TNA stuff and everything. And, he's the face that runs the place and everything. AJ Styles is great. And then, again, he said, on the kickoff show that he would be probably retiring next year in 2026. So this would be the very last match of John Cena, and they did not disappoint. It was a good match. Like I said, it was back and forth. There was a lot of finishing moves that they were both getting up off on and stuff. The false finishes, and everything just made them look strong. Kind of like one of their matches way back in the 2016, and stuff like that. So they did it, they did pretty good. And then John Cena, hits AJ with the power driver. Then from the power driver right into an AA, and John Cena wins the match. I mean, I love the fact that they, gave tribute to a lot of the wrestlers that some may still be in the ring, and a lot of them have retired, and some of them have passed on and stuff. So we only have 4 more dates left with John Cena. Not sure who he's going to be wrestling on them 4 days. I know probably one of them is going to be Gunther. I'm thinking they're saying that's going to be his last, match and stuff on his retirement tour. I mean, they screwed his retirement tour up anyway, but that's a different video. I'm gonna have to make one for that real soon and stuff. But kudos to John Cena, AJ Styles. That was a great match. It was good. And John Cena, congratulations on the win. Then we have Asuka and Kiari Sane going up against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. This match was good. It was back and forth. It was great. I mean, there really wasn't, wrestling for anything. The only thing that I can see in this match and stuff, even though Rhea Ripley is from Australia, EO has the bigger issue with Asuka and Kairi Sane. So I can see the narrative as far as them, not letting Rhea in the ring for a while, and then when they made the hot tag, she got in for a while and stuff. The Kabuki Warriors, they did well. Um, they they all did good. Like I said, it was a back and forth um, match, and then in the end, Rhea gets a riptide on Kairi Sane. She tags Io Sky in. Io Sky hits the over the moonsaw for the pin and the win and stuff. So congratulations to Rhea Ripley and Io Sky on that. And then we have the main event, which is Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. This match was pretty good too. It wasn't the best match, even though they were fighting, for the crown jewel. I mean, which really didn't mean anything. I mean, the only thing on this one is that we know that Cody has beaten Seth Rollins, 3 times, and then Seth Rollins gets this win, but it really doesn't mean anything because he never catches Cody Rhodes, unless they wrestle a few more times before either one of the two retire or whatever the case may be. But Cody's still 2 matches up on him. But this match was pretty good. Um, at one point, Cody has Seth in trouble. Seth rolls through Cody's legs. He gets the watch that Cody gave him that Seth put in the corner. Um, then he wraps it around his fist. The referee gets bumped, so he's knocked out of position, out of place, acting like he's hurt or whatever the case may be. Cody goes to do the crossroads on Seth Rollins. Seth punches him in the chin with the watch on his fist. Cody drops. Then Seth Rollins hits him with a stomp. And then he goes to the middle of the ropes in the corner and then hits him with a super stomp. And he pins Cody for the 1, 2, 3 and stuff. Like I said, this match was a pretty good match. Um, so and then this one too had a lot of false finishes also and stuff. But in the end, Seth Rollins wins. Congratulations to him as the Crown Jewel champion, which really means nothing. We'll see those belts like we saw just today, maybe tomorrow, in the rings, maybe on not tomorrow, but I mean on Raw and stuff. So it is what it is. The show, like I said, was a good show. So my ratings for the show through A, B, C, D, E, and F failing, I am going to give the show a B minus and stuff. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. A lot of it didn't, really mean to anything except for the first match with Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Roman Reigns, the Usos, and stuff like that, moving forward and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. What the storylines are going to be for that. And congratulations to all the winners. All right. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment. Let me know how you feel. Let me know if you agree, disagree, or whatever you want to put in the comments. Thank you for watching. God bless. Deuces. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.